Hey everybody, it's Sandra here at Clean and Simple Life. What's for dinner? It's Wednesday. What's for dinner Wednesday? Today we are doing butter chicken. This is from our stay home collection. One of my favorites. I love Indian food. I gotta say, of all the ethnic varieties of food, I do quite enjoy Indian food. Butter chicken, probably not one of my favorites as far as Indian food goes, but I do quite like it as well. So we're going to do some butter chicken tonight. Super easy. I have done a little bit of prep work just to make the whole video go a little bit smoother. And we got Steve behind the camera here, so...
Hi.
So if you're...
And we got Sandy and Caitlin already watching.
Hi, Sandy and Caitlin. So yeah, if you're watching, Steve will let me know. I'll give you guys a shout out. And if you have questions as we're going along, please put them in the comments, and Steve will ask as we go along. Ask any questions. I'm here for that. So tonight, as I said, we're doing butter chicken. I've already pre-cut a couple pounds of chicken thighs. You certainly could use chicken breast if you want. That's cool. You can also make this vegetarian. You could use lentils or chickpeas. You could even use tofu in it. So I am going to add in a can of chickpeas that I just rinsed off and seasoned. I also pre-seasoned the chicken with our tandoori seasoning. I had it on hand, so that's why I threw it on there, as well as some salt and pepper. Again, not the end of the world. Little salt and pepper on there. I do always like to season as I go along. I like to layer those seasonings, so I find it always very important. Salt and pepper your meat before you start cooking it. And I've also got a onion dice, just a small onion. And I only dice this onion because you guys know I hate cutting onions. I only did this because I actually did happen to go out today because cabin fever took over, so I had to get out of the house. So I went and did a few errands, and I did pick up some onions today. Otherwise, if I didn't have that, I would either use our 3 onion dip mix, which is shallots, onions, and chives. Onions, scallions, and chives. That's what, yeah. So I would either use that, or I would use my toasted onion instead. Both absolutely acceptable, but like I said, I went out, so I figured I'd throw in the onion as well. So let's get started.
Greg says hi, Sandra.
Who does?
Greg.
Greg. Hi, Greg. I hope everyone is doing well with this self-isolating and being in quarantine. You know, it kind of sucks, yeah. But we're making the most of it, right? What else can we do? At least it's a beautiful day here in southern Ontario. We're just outside of Toronto. It's been a beautiful warm day, about 15 degrees Celsius. For my U.S. friends, I'm sorry, I can't do the conversion real quick. But it's been a beautiful day. So I'm using my cast iron pan. Only reason I'm using this pan is because it has a nice high lip on it. If you don't have a cast iron pan, a Teflon pan will do just fine, or some kind of saucepan. Just do make sure that it has a decent lip on it, because we're going to be adding some liquid, right? So because it's cast iron, I did preheat this. Let's just get that in there. Whew, it's smoking hot. Perhaps I turned it up a little too high. That happens sometimes. But yeah, so I hope everybody's doing well in their self-quarantine and keeping busy. Lots of time to do some cooking, right? So I hope you guys have gotten into the kitchen and maybe tried out some new recipes. I did that yesterday. As you know, yesterday was Taste Test Kitchen Tuesday, and I did a little experimenting in my test kitchen, which you guys will see next week. I forgot to grab the onions. Sorry, hang on. Here we go. So I was in the test kitchen yesterday, experimenting a little bit, and I think it turned out well. Steve, what do you think? Did it turn out well?
Yep.
It did, didn't it?
Linda's watching now.
Oh, hi, Linda. Say hi to Ed for us. So I was in the test kitchen, but I hope you guys are getting into your kitchens as well, because you know what? We're at home anyway, so what a great time to get in the kitchen, get back to cooking a little bit. And you know what? I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to sound like a broken record about this, but have fun with it. You know, like food and cooking, it does not have to be complicated. It's really, really easy. And just experiment. There's no right or wrong when it comes to cooking. Baking, yeah, there's a right or wrong to baking. Baking is a science, and that's why I don't do a whole lot of baking. But when you're cooking, there's no rules to cooking. Whatever is good for you, go for it, you know? If you don't have an ingredient, substitute something else. Use, as my friend Pluto likes to say, you guys have seen me posting the Pluto living videos, but as my friend Pluto likes to say, ask the Mr. Googly or the Wiki Lickily and find out what you can substitute. If you don't have one thing, what can you use instead? There's so many things you can experiment with, and I would love to hear what you guys are experimenting with these days. It would be awesome.
Cheryl's here.
Hi, Cheryl.
And Linda said hi there.
Awesome. So I've got the onions in there. I am going to add in our butter chicken seasoning. And now, one of the things I want to tell you about this butter chicken, and you guys know already about Epicure, and one of the reasons why I love Epicure is all of our products are low or no sodium, and we're also very sugar conscious. So our butter chicken comes in at 25 milligrams of sodium per half cup serving. That is amazing. If you were to go to the Indian restaurant and have butter chicken there, which I love, don't get me wrong, I do love going to the Indian restaurant. Unfortunately, Steve doesn't, but that's okay. You're definitely going to have a lot more sodium than that. So, such good, healthy ingredients in our products. So, I'm just doing this up. Now, I used coconut oil in here. You could use butter. It actually calls for butter. I like using coconut oil when I'm cooking, especially something like this. It keeps the fat content down. I do love butter. I use butter all the time. I don't use margarine. I use butter because butter is a real product. It's clean. It's healthier. I don't like margarine. I think margarine is a molecule away from being plastic. I don't personally like that, but that's just my own personal opinion. Yep.
Kimberly's here.
Hi, Kim. Kimberly.
And Linda says butter chicken is her fave.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Does Ed like the butter chicken as well, Linda? I hope so. All right, so we've got our onions in there. Oh, and we've got my neighbors playing with the dog over there. Sweetheart. There's my neighbor. She's adorable. Okay, so I've got those in there. The onions are nice and sweated out, and I've put the seasoning in. Now, the reason I'm putting the seasoning in before I put anything else in there is I do want to cook that seasoning a little bit. I want it to have a chance to get nice and toasty. It's going to pull out that nuttiness flavor to it that we all love about butter chicken, because butter chicken is typically made with tandoori chicken. So, and those of you who know about Indian food, tandoori is actually an oven. Tandoori is the name of the oven that they cook the chicken in. That's how, so they make naan bread, and why it tastes so good. So they slap the naan bread dough to the side of the tandoori oven, and it cooks in there. So that's why it's so yummy. So by cooking the seasoning prior to putting any of the wet ingredients in there, it's going to pull that nuttiness out. That's just that signature flavor for butter chicken. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to add my chicken. No, I'm not going to add the chicken yet. I'm going to add my coconut milk. So I have 1 can of coconut milk. Add that in there. And I'm just using regular coconut milk here. It's all good. There we go. And I have 1/2 cup of crushed tomatoes. I'm using a passata. I really like the using passatas for crushed tomatoes. You can use whatever crushed tomatoes you have on hand. If you don't have crushed tomatoes, if you have fresh tomatoes, you could use those as well and just kind of smush them up a little bit. That's cool. There we go. So we're going to put that in there. And I'm going to crank up the heat a little bit because our heat has come down. So we'll crank up the heat a little bit. There we go. And then, once that's done, okay, now I'm going to add my chicken in here because I want my chicken to cook as well. So we add all that chicken in there. There we go. All right, that's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to bring that to a boil. Crank up the heat a bit. There we go. Easy peasy. Really not anything complicated. And now, like I said, I did do some of this in advance. So my mise en place was already done. But this is going to take about 10-15 minutes or so. Once it comes to the boil, I'm going to just let it simmer for a bit. We're going to just leave that for a few minutes. There we go. All right, let's just leave that. In the meantime, what we're going to do, so come on back for a second. So I'm serving this today with some basmati rice. I've already cooked the basmati rice in my rectangular steamer. It's a 2-to-1 ratio, so 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. And put that in the microwave, so that was taken care of there. I'm also going to serve it with some broccoli and cauliflower, which again, in my rectangular steamer. I'm going to pop this in the steamer here. Now you'll notice it is frozen. I'm not adding any kind of water, no oil, no butter, nothing. Just the way it is. It's going to steam beautifully, and you can do that too with your fresh vegetables. You don't need to add any kind of liquid or oil to cook these in your steamer. That's the beauty of our steamers. They're amazing. So those I'm going to put in there for, let's call it about 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this. All right, take a look at our butter chicken here. She's bubbling away. Doesn't that look fantastic? The smell in here is to die for. It smells so good. It's like being in an Indian restaurant, I swear. Now I've made my chicken pieces nice and small, so they're not going to take very long to cook, right? That's the other key, is make sure that you make your pieces bite-sized, because it makes it easier to cook them. I'm just laughing at the dog outside. I can watch the dog. We have a big Rubbermaid bin where we keep all of our patio chair cushions. So there we go. The dog is up there playing with the neighbors.
Oakley, are you being a good boy? Yes, you are. No, you're not coming in though.
This is the fun we have here in this house while we're cooking. So that's doing its thing. I'm just going to grab the chickpeas as well. I'm going to toss those in here. Because, of course, you know, canned chickpeas. These are organic chickpeas. I bought them at Farm Boy. And all I did was I just rinsed them off a little bit. And again, yes, I'm going to have way more protein than we need in this dish. Because the chickpeas are a protein, as is the chicken. I know that. But that's okay. Because we're actually... This is going to make way more food than Steve and I need for dinner tonight, because both the boys are away this week, so it is just the two of us. But what I'm going to do with this, and again, you guys who know me and who follow me, what do I love? I love to cook once and eat twice, or big batch cooking. So what I'm going to do with all of this extra butter chicken when we're done eating dinner tonight is I am going to portion this out into 1 or 2 serving portions, and I am going to freeze it. And therefore, when I don't feel like cooking dinner, and it happens from time to time, so when I don't feel like cooking dinner, or if we've been out doing something during the day and, you know, it's running a little late by the time we get home, I can just grab it out of the freezer, pop it in the microwave, dinner's already to go. So that's what I'm going to do with the with what's left over there. So we're looking so good here. Oh my God, I wish you guys could smell this.
We need smell-o-vision.
We do need smell-o-vision. You're right, Steve. Smell-o-vision would just blow everybody's mind away, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. right. Got that going. We've got our broccoli and cauliflower cooking. We've got our basmati rice ready to go. I've also got some naan bread that we're going to serve with this, because with all that sauce, you need something to sop up the sauce, right? And I love naan bread. You know what else I love doing with the naan bread is making pizza with naan bread. So good. It is great to make pizzas on those things, especially on the barbecue. Did that as an experiment a few months ago with Duncan. Just Duncan and I were here for dinner, so we thought, let's make pizza on the barbecue, and wow, did it turn out great. So we're just going to leave this here for a few more minutes. Our broccoli and cauliflower is almost done. The other thing we're going to do with dinner tonight is, because I went out, because I had cabin fever, as I mentioned, I made a little quick stop at our liquor store. We're at the LCBO, for those of us who live in Ontario.
The Lickbo.
The Lickbo. And my good friend Brett in the vintages section helped me find a couple of wines that we're going to pair up for dinner tonight. So we have a beautiful red here. Both come from, I'm going to give you a little wine lesson here, just for the fun of it. So this one is our red that we're having, and it's Chateau des Neiges. It's a vieille vigne, which means old vines vintage. It comes from the Rhone region of France. And what I learned about the vieille vigne is that those vines, they produce lower yields of grapes, but the grapes themselves have a higher concentration and are just that much more flavorful in those from those vines. So our red has spicy herbal notes and juicy mouth-watering fruit, has notes of cherries and raspberries form the core of the wine. And it's accented by bay leaf and thyme. So very nice. Finish is silky and vibrant. It has 3 grams of sugar per liter. So those of you who are looking at your sugar consumption, you've got 3 grams of sugar. It's an extra dry, and it's full-bodied and smooth. Personally, I like a white wine. So that'll be Steve's wine for this evening.
Oh, Nazin is watching.
Oh, hi, Nazneen.
That's it.
I like a white wine. So I've got a Syrah, again from the Rhone region of France. And this is also a vieille vigne, or old vines. It's a Roussillon Blanc, 2018 vintage. The red was a 2017 vintage. This is a 2018 vintage. And both of them are finished in concrete. The red does have a finish in one of the grapes. The Syrah grapes are finished in older barrels. However, everything else is finished in concrete. And same with this white. It's all entirely finished in concrete. It has rich, ripe, honeyed wine with refined mineral and texture driving acidity. It's also very nicely paired with seafood. It has 2 grams of sugar per liter, so those of you watching your sugars. It's an extra dry and is full-bodied and rich. So thank you to my friend Brett at the North Ajax LCBO for helping me pair up some nice wines to have with dinner tonight. So that's what we'll be enjoying with our dinner.
Can we do an ode to Dr. Tongue right now?
An ode to Dr. Tongue.
Do you remember John Candy on SCTV?
No.
Dr. Tongue's 3D House of Wine.
Oh, okay.
Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. Here we go.
All right,
That's
then.
our 3D moment for the day.
Okay,
We don't have smell-o-vision, so...
I was considering hiring Steve on full-time as a cameraman because he's proved to be very useful lately.
Not now.
However, I may have to reconsider my decision on that.
We'll see how well Oakley does.
Yeah, well, I'll get back to you on that. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit more about the butter chicken. We're almost ready to finish that up here. So, but just wanted to give you a little bit more information about our butter chicken. Again, it's part of our Stay Home, Stay Safe collection. Comes in a 30, 60, or 90-day collection. Uses mainly the staples that are in your pantry. One meal for every kit that is sold is being donated to Food Banks Canada and Feeding America. And until the end of April as well, Amelia Warren and her husband Kyle are donating 10 meals personally to both of those organizations, depending on where the customer is located. So 11 meals for each kit will be donated to help those in need, especially during this time. So very, very cool. But as far as the butter chicken goes itself, do want to point out a couple of allergens that are part of our ingredient list. So anyone who has allergies to garlic, mustard, and onion, do be aware those are part of our ingredient list. So you want to be cognizant of that. As many of our products are, this is 85% non-GMO. So those of you who are concerned about that, I think it's a fantastic thing. All of our ingredients are all ethically sourced. All the ingredients that are on the list, you know, they're all clean, healthy ingredients. You can pronounce everything that's on there. There's no artificial flavors, no artificial colorings. So the color and the depth of color that comes out of the ingredients, it's naturally occurring color. So which is really, really cool. If you have leftovers, it also makes a great butter chicken wrap. You can put it in a pita, wrap it up with some lettuce and some steamed veggies. It's fantastic. On a baked potato as a topper, really cool. You can top it on a pizza, butter chicken pizza. That's kind of one of those new trendy things. That works really well. As I mentioned earlier, you know, we're doing chicken. You can easily make this vegetarian and vegan by omitting the butter, which I did. I used the coconut oil. And rather than chicken, you can use chickpeas, you can use lentils, you can use tofu. All work really, really well with this ingredient, with this sauce. What else did I want to tell you about that? I think that's about it. 25 milligrams of sodium per half cup serving. Yeah. It makes 8 servings. So great value with the butter chicken. So normally, if you're not getting it as part of the Stay Home collection, it comes 3 packages for $10. So when you start looking at an individual price per serving, it does work out to be really, really economical for being able to serve 8 people, especially if you're going to make it vegetarian with a can of chickpeas. You know, you can serve your family for less than $3 per serving, which is absolutely amazing. So let's go take a look. We should be, we're looking really, really good here. I think we're just about ready. Oh my goodness, that looks fantastic. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna add in, and I should have brought it over. I'm gonna turn off the heat on that. And one last thing to add is I'm gonna add half a cup of Greek yogurt. I like using Greek yogurt. You certainly could use sour cream if you'd prefer. But I find that, especially for this dish, I am making a mess everywhere. I think I need to clean my stovetop tomorrow. But I find for a dish like this, the Greek yogurt, because it's nice and thick, it just has that better consistency for the sauce. It's not going to make it too watery or anything like that. And it's got the same acidity that sour cream would have. Honestly, I have replaced sour cream in all my dishes that I make with plain Greek yogurt. I can't remember the last time I used sour cream in anything. Even when I make dip, I use my dip mixes. I'll use plain Greek yogurt rather than sour cream in those, along with some mayo. So that's very cool. And there we go. Now what I may do is I think I'm gonna just leave this a little bit longer and just let it thicken up a bit. That's my personal preference. And we're not quite ready to eat dinner yet in any case. So I'm just gonna let this sit for a little bit. But there you have it. That was what, maybe 25 minutes, 30 minutes?
20.
20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Raw to ready, 20 minutes. Minimal prep time. So yes, I cut up my chicken and my onions in advance, but that took me like 5 minutes. So really, that was not, I'm not going to say that that added a whole lot of extra time. So there you have it. Raw to ready, butter chicken, 20 minutes. Way better than takeout. Way healthier. I get to control my sodium, my fat intake. I get to control how much oil goes into it, and I get to control the ingredients. So it's a win-win for me personally, I think. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me make dinner again tonight for What's for Dinner. I would love to hear what is for dinner at your house and see some pictures as well. It helps me with my cabin fever because, you know, the four walls get a little tight sometimes. But yeah, I'd love to see what you guys are cooking. Thank you all so much for tuning in and giving me your time to watch me make dinner. And I hope you all have a great evening and be safe. Talk to you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.